First contact. The sleek diplomatic shuttle pierced the swirling atmosphere of Zeta Proxima, its hull glowing faintly as it descended towards the alien world's surface. Inside, Ambassador Elena Reyes took a deep breath, steeling herself for the monumental task ahead. Humanity's first official contact with an advanced alien civilization hung in the balance, and the weight of that responsibility pressed heavily on her shoulders. As the shuttle touched down on the crystalline landing pad, Elena straightened her crisp uniform and checked her universal translator one last time. The device, a marvel of human ingenuity, had been programmed with what little they knew of the Zetan's complex language. She hoped it would be enough. The shuttle's doors hissed open, revealing a landscape that defied easy description. Towering spires of what appeared to be living crystals stretched towards the violet sky, while floating orbs of pulsating energy drifted lazily through the air. The gravity was slightly lighter than Earth's, giving Elena an odd sensation of buoyancy as she stepped onto the alien soil. A delegation of Zetans awaited her at the base of the landing pad. Their bodies were vaguely humanoid, but composed of a shimmering, semi-translucent substance that seemed to flow and shift with each movement. Where a human would have eyes, the Zetans possessed clusters of iridescent orbs that moved independently, taking in every detail of their surroundings. Elena approached the group, her heart pounding. She raised her hand in what she hoped was a universally peaceful gesture and spoke into her translator. "Greetings, people of Zeta Proxima B. I am Ambassador Elena Reyes of Earth, here to establish peaceful relations between our worlds." The tallest Zetan, its body a swirling mix of blue and silver, stepped forward. When it spoke, the sound was like crystals chiming in a gentle breeze. Elena's translator processed for a moment before relaying the message. "Welcome, Ambassador of Earth. I am High Resonator Zilix, leader of the Harmony Confluence. We have long awaited this moment of connection with your species." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "So far, so good. The honor is ours, High Resonator. We come in peace and with great eagerness to learn from your advanced civilization." Zilix's body rippled, a gesture Elena interpreted as positive. "Your journey must have been long. Please accompany us to the Citadel of Resonance, where we can begin our discussions in earnest." As they walked, Elena marveled at the alien cityscape. What she had initially taken for buildings were actually enormous, living organisms that served as dwellings and civic centers for the Zetans. The air was filled with a faint, melodious hum that seemed to emanate from everything around them. "Your world is breathtaking," Elena commented, genuine awe in her voice. "We have so much to learn from each other." Zilix's orb eyes shifted, focusing intently on Elena. "Indeed, and there is much we must discuss, Ambassador. The situation between our peoples is more complex than you may realize." Elena felt a flicker of unease at Zilix's tone. "Complex. I was under the impression that this was to be a straightforward diplomatic mission. Has something changed?" The High Resonator's body swirled with darker hues. "Not changed precisely, but there are customs and expectations among our people that must be addressed before any formal negotiations can begin." They had reached the base of an enormous, pulsating structure that Elena assumed was the Citadel of Resonance. Zilix paused, its form rippling with what seemed to be hesitation. "Ambassador Reyes, among the Zetans, trust is not merely spoken or written. It is experienced, shared on a profound level that goes beyond mere words or gestures." Elena nodded slowly, trying to grasp the implications. "I'm listening, High Resonator. Please explain what this means for our negotiations." Zilix's body shimmered, and Elena's translator struggled for a moment to convey the complex concepts. "To prove your sincerity and establish a true bond of trust, our customs dictate that you must harmonize with each member of the Confluence Council." Elena's brow furrowed. "Harmonize? I'm afraid I don't understand." "It is a process of deep connection," Zilix explained. "A sharing of minds, emotions, and physical essence. Only through this intimate exchange can we truly know your intentions and the heart of your people. As the full implications of Zelix's words sank in, Elena felt a wave of shock and disbelief wash over her. This was far beyond anything covered in her diplomatic training or briefings on Zetan culture. "Are you saying," she began carefully, "that in order to proceed with negotiations, I'm expected to engage intimately with your entire council?" Zelix's body pulsed with affirmation. "It is our way, Ambassador. The harmony must be achieved, or there can be no trust between our peoples." Elena's mind raced. This wasn't just a cultural misunderstanding. It was a potential diplomatic catastrophe. Every instinct told her to refuse outright, to explain that such a demand was completely unacceptable by human standards. But the consequences of such a refusal could be dire. If she walked away now, the chance for peaceful contact between Earth and Zeta Proxima might be lost forever. I need time to consider this," Elena managed, fighting to keep her voice steady. "This is not a custom we practice on Earth, and I must consult with my superiors before making any decisions." Zelix's form rippled with what Elena hoped was understanding. "Of course, Ambassador. We do not wish to cause you distress. You will be given quarters in the Citadel to rest and reflect. But know that until the harmony is achieved, we cannot proceed with any formal talks." As Elena was led away by a group of smaller Zetans, her mind whirled with the impossible situation she now faced. How could she possibly explain this to her superiors back on Earth? And more importantly, how could she navigate this cultural minefield without compromising her integrity or the future of human-Zetan relations? The fate of two worlds now rested on her shoulders, and Elena had never felt more alone or unprepared for the challenges that lay ahead. As the alien sun began to set, casting the crystalline city in an ethereal glow, she realized that her true test as a diplomat and as a representative of humanity was only just beginning. Cultural clash. Elena paced the confines of her quarters, a beautiful but alien space that pulsed with soft bioluminescence. The events of the day replayed in her mind, each recollection bringing a fresh wave of anxiety and disbelief. She had spent the last few hours in tense communication with her superiors back on Earth, explaining the Zetans' unexpected demand. The response from Earth had been a mix of shock, outrage, and cold political calculation. Some argued for an immediate withdrawal from the planet, citing cultural incompatibility. Others saw the potential benefits of an alliance with the technologically advanced Zetans as too valuable to abandon over what they termed a cultural misunderstanding. In the end, the decision had been left to Elena. She was the one on the ground, the one who would have to live with the consequences of whatever choice she made. The weight of that responsibility felt crushing. A chime at her door interrupted her thoughts. Elena composed herself and called out, "Enter." The door seemed to dissolve, revealing a smaller Zetan whose body shimmered with gentle green and gold hues. "Greetings, Ambassador," the translator conveyed. "I am Nyx, assigned to be your guide and interpreter during your stay. May I enter?" Elena nodded, grateful for the distraction. "Please come in. I have many questions about your people and this harmony you speak of." Nyx flowed into the room, its form rippling with what Elena was beginning to recognize as excitement. "I am here to answer any questions you may have, Ambassador. We understand that our customs may seem strange to you." "Strange is an understatement," Elena said with a wry smile. "Nyx, in my culture, what you're asking of me would be considered a gross violation of personal autonomy. How can forced intimacy reveal anything true about a person's intentions?" Nyx's body pulsed, its orb eyes shifting in a pattern that suggested deep thought. "Forced? No, Ambassador, you misunderstand. The choice is always yours. But for us, true understanding can only come through complete openness and vulnerability." Elena sank into a chair that seemed to grow from the floor to accommodate her. But if refusal means the end of negotiations, is it really a choice? "Perhaps it would help if I explained the process more fully," Nyx offered. "The harmony is not merely physical, as you might think. It is a melding of minds, a sharing of experiences and emotions. Through it, we gain a deep empathy and understanding of one another. As Nyx spoke, holographic images began to form in the air between them, showing swirling patterns of light and color merging and separating. Elena watched, fascinated despite her reservations. "But how can you be sure that what you're experiencing is real?" she asked. "Couldn't someone skilled in deception simply show you what you want to see?" Nyx's form shimmered with what might have been amusement. "Ambassador, deception requires separation, a divide between the true self and the presented self. In the harmony, such division cannot exist. It is a state of total unity and transparency." Elena leaned forward, intrigued despite herself. "And this is how your people make all major decisions? Through this shared consciousness?" "Indeed," Nyx confirmed. "It is how we have maintained peace and understanding among our own kind for millennia. And now, we hope to extend that understanding to your people." As they continued to talk, Elena found her initial revulsion slowly giving way to a cautious curiosity. The concept was still foreign, still frightening in many ways, but she was beginning to see the profound implications of such a practice. However, their discussion was interrupted by another chime at the door. This time, it was High Resonator Zilix who entered, its form pulsing with urgent colors. "Ambassador Reyes," Zilix's translated voice carried a note of concern. "I apologize for the interruption, but a situation has arisen that requires your immediate attention." Elena stood, instantly alert. "What's happened?" Zilix's form rippled with dark, stormy colors. "A faction among our people, led by Resonator Cax, is voicing strong opposition to these negotiations. They fear that contact with your species will contaminate our culture and disrupt our way of life." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. She had expected some resistance, but not so soon. "What does this mean for our talks?" "For now, the Harmony Confluence still supports peaceful contact," Zilix assured her. "But Cax and his followers are demanding proof of your intentions. They insist that you undergo the Harmony immediately, or they will push for your immediate expulsion from our world." Elena's mind raced. The situation was escalating faster than she could have imagined. She thought of Earth, of the hopes pinned on this mission, of the potential benefits and dangers of an alliance with the Zetans. "High Resonator," she said, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "I need to understand exactly what this harmony entails, not just in theory, but in practice. Can you show me?" Zilix's form pulsed with surprise. "You wish to experience a limited harmony? This is unexpected, but possible. Are you certain, Ambassador?" Elena took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "I'm certain that I need more information before I can make a decision that will affect both our peoples. If experiencing a small taste of this harmony will help me understand, then yes, I'm willing." Nyx moved closer, its form shimmering with concern. "Ambassador, are you sure? The experience can be overwhelming for those unprepared." "I'm sure," Elena said, trying to project a confidence she didn't entirely feel. "I'm a diplomat. My job is to bridge gaps of understanding between cultures. If this is what it takes to do that job, then I'm ready." Zilix and Nyx exchanged a series of rapid color pulses that Elena's translator couldn't keep up with. Finally, Zilix turned back to her. "Very well, Ambassador. We will proceed with a limited harmony. Please, relax your mind and try not to resist the connection." As Zilix moved towards her, its form beginning to glow with an intense inner light, Elena closed her eyes. She thought of Earth, of the billions of people counting on her to make the right choice. Whatever happened next, she knew it would change everything, for her, for humanity, and for the future of interstellar relations. The last thing Elena felt before the harmony began was a sensation of warmth spreading through her body. Then suddenly, she was falling into a sea of light and sensation, her consciousness expanding in ways she had never imagined possible. The true nature of the Zetan culture was about to reveal itself to her, for better or for worse. Unexpected allies. The experience of the limited harmony left Elena reeling. As her consciousness slowly separated from Zilix's, she found herself gasping for breath, her mind struggling to process the flood of alien sensations and emotions she had just experienced. Ambassador, Nick's concerned voice pierced through the fog in her mind. Are you all right? Elena blinked rapidly, her vision slowly coming back into focus. The room seemed to spin around her, the bioluminescent walls pulsing in time with her racing heartbeat. I'm okay, she managed, her voice shaky. That was intense. Zolix's form shimmered with what Elena now recognized as a mix of concern and curiosity. You handled the experience remarkably well for a first contact, Ambassador. What did you perceive? Elena took a deep breath, trying to organize her thoughts. It was beautiful, terrifying but beautiful. I saw the history of your people, felt the deep connection you have with your world and each other. But I also sensed fear, uncertainty about the future. Zilix's body darkened slightly. You perceived correctly. The arrival of your people has caused great upheaval in our society. Many, like Cax and his followers, fear change. As Elena's mind cleared, she began to process the implications of what she had experienced. The harmony wasn't just a cultural practice, it was the very foundation of Zetan society. Their entire civilization was built on this deep, constant connection between individuals. I think I understand now, Elena said slowly. Your people literally can't conceive of diplomatic relations without this level of connection. It's not just a custom, it's everything to you. Nyx pulsed with approval. Yes, Ambassador. This is why the harmony is so crucial to these negotiations. Without it, there can be no true understanding between our peoples. Elena stood, wobbling slightly as she regained her balance. I need to speak with Cax and his faction. If I can explain what I've experienced, maybe I can allay some of their fears. Zolix's form rippled with surprise. That is, an unconventional request, Ambassador. Cax may not be receptive to your words. Maybe not, Elena agreed, but I have to try. The future of our relations depends on finding some common ground. After some discussion, Zilix reluctantly agreed to arrange a meeting. Hours later, Elena found herself in a vast chamber deep within the citadel of resonance. The room was filled with Zetans, their bodies a turbulent sea of colors reflecting their agitation. At the center stood Cax, his form larger and more imposing than the others, pulsing with deep reds and blacks. When he spoke, Elena's translator struggled to keep up with the complex harmonics of his voice. So, the human wishes to address us. Cax's words dripped with disdain. Come to corrupt our ways with your alien ideas. Elena stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. Resonator Cax, esteemed members of the Zetan people, I come before you not to corrupt, but to understand and be understood. She took a deep breath and continued, I have experienced a taste of your harmony. I felt the beauty and complexity of your connection to each other and to this world, and I believe that there is a way for our peoples to coexist and learn from one another without compromising the essence of who you are. Cax's form pulsed angrily. Pretty words, human, but words are wind. How can we trust a species that lives in isolation, that cannot truly know the minds of their own kind? Elena nodded, acknowledging the point. You're right. We are different. Our ways are not your ways. But consider this, despite our differences, we have achieved great things. We have explored the stars, developed technologies, created art and music that touches the soul. Imagine what we could accomplish together, combining your unity with our diversity. As she spoke, Elena noticed a subtle shift in the room. Some of the Zetans were pulsing with colors she recognized as interest and curiosity. Encouraged, she pressed on. I propose a compromise. I will undergo your full harmony ritual as your customs demand. But in return, I ask that a delegation of your people agree to visit Earth, to experience our way of life firsthand, to see that there are many paths to understanding and progress. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of chiming voices and swirling colors. Cax's form seemed to grow larger, looming over Elena. "You would dare to make demands of us," he thundered. But before he could continue, another voice cut through the chaos. A smaller Zetan, its form a gentle swirl of blues and greens, moved to stand beside Elena. "I support the ambassador's proposal," the new Zetan announced. Elena's translator identified the speaker as Vex, a respected elder of the Harmony Confluence. Vex's voice carried through the chamber, calm but forceful. "For too long, we have isolated ourselves from the galaxy. We have grown stagnant, fearful of change. This human has shown more courage and willingness to understand us than we have shown to understand them. I say we accept her offer." The room fell silent, all eyes turning to Cax. The imposing Zetan's form rippled with conflicting colors, his internal struggle visible to all. Finally, Cax spoke, his voice quieter but no less intense. "Very well. The human will undergo the full harmony, and if she survives with her mind intact, we will consider her proposal." As the assembly began to disperse, Elena felt a mix of triumph and trepidation. She had gained an unexpected ally in Vex, but the challenge ahead was daunting. The full harmony ritual would push her to her limits, forcing her to confront not just the alien minds of the Zetans, but the depths of her own psyche. Vex approached her, its form shimmering with what Elena now recognized as respect. "You have shown great wisdom, Ambassador, but the trial ahead will not be easy. Are you prepared for what is to come?" Elena squared her shoulders, meeting Vex's gaze steadily. "I don't know if anyone can truly be prepared for something like this, but I'm ready to try. For the sake of both our peoples, I have to succeed." As she left the chamber, flanked by Nyx and Vex, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that she was walking a tightrope between two worlds. One misstep could plunge both species into conflict, but success could open the door to a future beyond anything either civilization had imagined. The fate of interstellar relations hung in the balance, and Elena Reyes, diplomat from Earth, was the fulcrum upon which it all turned. Rising conflict. The days leading up to the full harmony ritual were a whirlwind of preparation and rising tension. Elena spent hours with Nyx and Vex, learning to meditate and clear her mind in the Zetan way. They warned her repeatedly about the intensity of the experience to come, but no amount of preparation could truly ready her for what lay ahead. Meanwhile, the political situation on Zeta Proxima grew increasingly volatile. Cax and his followers had stepped up their rhetoric against the humans, spreading fear and mistrust among the general population. Rumors swirled that they were planning to sabotage the harmony ritual, or worse, launch an attack on Elena and her small support team from Earth. On the eve of the ritual, Elena sat in her quarters, trying to calm her nerves. A soft chime announced a visitor. It was Vex, the elder who had supported her in the assembly. "Ambassador," Vex's translated voice was gentle. "I hope I'm not disturbing you." Elena managed a weak smile. "Not at all, Elder Vex. Please come in." Vex's form shimmered with concern as it entered the room. "I wanted to check on you before tomorrow's ritual, and to warn you." Elena felt her heart rate quicken. "Warn me? About what?" "Cax's faction is growing bolder," Vex explained, its colors darkening. "There are whispers of a plot to disrupt the harmony. Some even speak of harming you during the process." Elena's blood ran cold. "Can they do that? I thought the harmony was supposed to be a peaceful exchange." Vex's form rippled with agitation. "In its purest form, yes, but the harmony can be manipulated by those with strong enough will and darker intentions. If Cax or his followers participate, they could attempt to overwhelm your mind, to break you." Elena stood, pacing the room as she processed this new threat. "So what do we do? Cancel the ritual?" "That would only prove Cax right about our incompatibility," Vex said, shaking its head. "No, we must proceed, but we will take precautions. I and other elders who support your cause will participate in the harmony to help shield your mind from any malicious intrusions." Elena nodded, grateful for Vex's support but still uneasy. "Thank you, Elder. I appreciate your help and your honesty. As Vex left, Elena turned to her communication device, sending an encrypted message back to Earth. She detailed the situation and the potential risks, making it clear that if anything went wrong during the ritual, Earth should not retaliate. The last thing she wanted was for her failure to spark an interstellar war. The night passed fitfully, and dawn broke on the day of the ritual with an ominous red glow. Elena dressed in the ceremonial robes provided by the Zetans, a shimmering garment that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. Nyx arrived to escort her to the Harmony Chamber. "Are you ready, Ambassador?" Elena took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "As ready as I'll ever be." The Harmony Chamber was a vast, dome-shaped room at the heart of the Citadel. Hundreds of Zetans were already gathered, their bodies forming a living, pulsating circle. At the center was a raised platform bathed in a column of pure energy. High Resonator Zilix approached Elena, its form radiating solemnity. "Ambassador Reyes, are you prepared to undergo the full Harmony ritual, to open your mind and essence to our people?" Elena's voice was steady as she replied, "I am." "Then let us begin." Elena was led to the central platform. As she took her place, she saw Cax and his followers taking positions around the circle. Their forms pulsed with dark, angry colors. But she also saw Vex and other friendly faces, their gentler hues a promise of support. The energy column around Elena intensified, and she felt her consciousness begin to expand. It was like the limited harmony she had experienced before, but magnified 1,000-fold. She was aware of hundreds of minds touching hers, a vast ocean of alien thoughts and emotions threatening to overwhelm her. Suddenly, she felt a sharp, painful intrusion, Cax and his allies trying to force their way deeper into her psyche. Elena gritted her teeth, focusing on the mental defense techniques Nyx had taught her. Images flashed through her mind: Earth's oceans and forests, the bustle of New York City, the quiet beauty of a sunrise over the Sahara. She projected these visions outward, showing the Zetans the beauty and diversity of her homeworld. But Cax pushed harder, flooding her mind with visions of war, pollution, and human cruelty. Elena staggered under the assault, feeling her sense of self beginning to fragment. Just when she thought she couldn't hold on any longer, she felt a gentle presence envelop her. Vex and the other friendly elders had formed a protective barrier around her consciousness, shielding her from the worst of Cax's attack. With their help, Elena rallied. She opened herself fully to the harmony, allowing the Zetans to see not just the surface thoughts and memories, but the very core of her being, her hopes, her fears, her unwavering commitment to peace and understanding between their peoples. The mental battle raged for what felt like eternity. Elena lost all sense of time and physical space, her entire existence narrowed to this clash of wills and exchange of experiences. Finally, slowly the pressure began to ease. The hostile presences receded, replaced by a growing sense of warmth and acceptance. Elena felt her consciousness gently guided back to her physical form. As the energy column faded, Elena opened her eyes. The chamber was deathly silent, every Zetan staring at her with their orb eyes wide and pulsing. Zilix was the first to speak, its form shimmering with a mix of awe and respect. "Ambassador Reyes, you have endured the full harmony and shown us the true nature of humanity. Your strength, your diversity, your capacity for both great good and terrible destruction, we have seen it all." Cax stepped forward, his once imposing form now subdued. I was wrong about you, human. Your species is different from ours, yes, but there is much we can learn from each other." Elena, exhausted but triumphant, managed to stand. Her voice was hoarse, but clear as she addressed the assembly. "People of Zeta Proxima, I thank you for this opportunity to truly know and be known. I hope this marks the beginning of a lasting friendship between our worlds." A cheer went up from the gathered Zetans, their bodies pulsing with vibrant colors of joy and excitement. As Elena was helped from the platform by Nyx and Vex, she knew that while many challenges lay ahead, A crucial first step had been taken. The barriers between human and Zetan had been breached, and the possibilities for both civilizations were now as vast as the stars themselves. Human ingenuity. In the days following the harmony ritual, Elena found herself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. The successful completion of the ritual had opened doors that she had never imagined possible. The Zetans, once wary and divided, now looked to her with a mixture of curiosity and respect. However, the physical and mental toll of the harmony had been severe. Elena spent the first 2 days after the ritual in a state of near-constant sleep, her mind and body struggling to process the intense alien experiences she had undergone. When she finally emerged from her quarters, she found that the political landscape had shifted dramatically. Cax, once her most vocal opponent, had undergone a profound change of heart. He approached Elena in the grand hall of the citadel, his form shimmering with colors that her translator interpreted as contrition and eagerness. "Ambassador Reyes," Cax's voice chimed, "I must apologize for my earlier behavior. The harmony has shown me the error of my ways. I now see the potential in our two species working together." Elena nodded, still wary but willing to accept the olive branch. "Thank you, Resonator Cax. I'm glad we were able to find common ground." But not all problems had been solved by the ritual. As Elena delved deeper into discussions with the Zetan leadership, she discovered a crisis that threatened both their worlds. The Zetans' advanced technology relied heavily on a rare element they called harmonic crystals. These crystals, which grew naturally on their world, were becoming increasingly scarce. Without them, much of the Zetan civilization would collapse. In a private meeting with Zelix, Vex, and other key leaders, Elena learned the full extent of the problem. "Our scientists estimate that within a generation, we will exhaust our planet's supply of harmonic crystals," Zelix explained, its form pulsing with worry. "We have searched our entire star system, but found no other sources." Elena's mind raced. This was both a crisis and an opportunity. What if we could help you find new sources of these crystals, or perhaps find a way to synthesize them? Vex's form brightened. "Is such a thing possible with human technology?" "I don't know," Elena admitted, "but we faced similar challenges in our history and found innovative solutions. With our sciences combined, we might be able to find an answer." The Zetan leaders conferred among themselves, their bodies shimmering in rapid patterns that Elena's translator couldn't keep up with. Finally, Zelix turned back to her. "We accept your offer of assistance, Ambassador. But understand, this information must not leave this room. If word of our vulnerability spreads, it could cause panic among our people." Elena nodded solemnly. "You have my word. I'll contact Earth immediately and request a team of our best scientists and engineers." Over the next few weeks, a small but elite team of human experts arrived on Zeta Proxima b. Elena watched with pride as her fellow humans adapted quickly to the alien environment, their natural curiosity and problem-solving skills impressing even the most skeptical Zetans. Dr. Samantha Chen, a brilliant materials scientist, led the human team. She worked tirelessly with Zetan researchers, studying the unique properties of the harmonic crystals. Elena often found her in the lab, surrounded by holographic displays and pulsating Zetan technology. "It's incredible, Elena," Samantha exclaimed during one of their briefings. "These crystals have properties we've only theorized about on Earth. They seem to resonate with quantum fields in ways we don't fully understand yet." But despite their best efforts, a solution remained elusive. The Zetan scientists, brilliant in their own right, seemed constrained by traditional thinking. It was during a particularly frustrating session that Elena had an epiphany. "We're approaching this all wrong," she said, interrupting a heated debate between Samantha and a Zetan physicist. "We're trying to replicate the crystals exactly, but what if we approach it from a different angle?" She turned to the Zetan scientist. "You said these crystals resonate with quantum fields, right? On Earth, we've been experimenting with quantum entanglement for communication and computing. What if we could use that principle to amplify the power of the remaining crystals?" The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Samantha's eyes lit up. Elena, that's brilliant. We could potentially create a network of entangled particles using the remaining crystals as nodes. It wouldn't replace the crystals entirely, but it could extend their usefulness indefinitely. The Zetans in the room began to pulse with excitement, their colors swirling in patterns that Elena had come to recognize as intense intellectual stimulation. Over the next months, humans and Zetans worked side by side, combining their knowledge and technologies in ways neither species had imagined before. There were setbacks and moments of frustration, but slowly, surely, progress was made. The day they successfully created the first stable quantum-entangled harmonic network was one of celebration across the planet. Elena stood with Zilix, Vex, and Cax, watching as the new system came online, its pulsing energy a testament to what their two species could accomplish together. Ambassador Reyes, Zilix's form shimmered with gratitude. You and your people have saved our civilization. How can we ever repay this debt? Elena smiled, feeling a warmth of pride and hope for the future. There is no debt between friends, High Resonator. This is just the beginning of what we can achieve together. As news of the breakthrough spread, Elena knew that the relationship between Earth and Zeta Proxima had been forever changed. The future that stretched before them was bright with possibility, a fusion of human ingenuity and Zetan harmony that promised to reshape the galaxy. But even as they celebrated, Elena couldn't help but wonder about the challenges that still lay ahead. The galaxy was vast and largely unknown. What other wonders, or dangers, might be waiting for them among the stars? Triumph of understanding. As the quantum-entangled harmonic network stabilized and expanded across Zeta Proxima, the true implications of the human-Zetan collaboration began to unfold. The crisis had been averted, but the partnership born from necessity was blossoming into something far greater. Elena found herself at the center of a new era of interstellar cooperation. The Harmony Confluence, once wary of outside influence, now eagerly sought to learn more about Earth and its varied cultures. In turn, the reports sent back to Earth sparked a renaissance of scientific and cultural exchange. One crisp morning, as Elena watched the twin moons of Zeta Proxima sink below the horizon, she received an urgent message from Earth. The United Nations Space Council was calling for her immediate return to discuss the establishment of a permanent human presence on the alien world. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, Elena prepared for her journey home. As she packed her belongings, Nyx entered her quarters, its form shimmering with a mix of joy and sadness. "I've come to bid you farewell, Ambassador," Nyx chimed, "but I hope it's not goodbye forever." Elena smiled warmly at her alien friend. "It won't be, Nyx. This is just the beginning of our journey together." As Elena boarded her shuttle, a large gathering of Zetans had assembled to see her off. Zilix, Vex, and even Cax were at the forefront, their forms pulsing with vibrant colors. Ambassador Reyes, Zilix's voice carried across the landing pad, "You came to us as a stranger, but you leave as family. Know that you will always have a home among the stars." With a final wave, Elena entered the shuttle. As it lifted off, breaking through the swirling atmosphere of Zeta Proxima, she felt a profound sense of accomplishment, tinged with anticipation for the challenges ahead. The journey back to Earth was filled with preparation and planning. Elena spent hours drafting proposals and recommendations for the future of human-Zetan relations. By the time her ship entered Earth's orbit, she had a comprehensive vision for moving forward. The reception on Earth was beyond anything Elena had imagined. Crowds cheered as she stepped off the spacecraft, the first human to return from successful long-term contact with an alien civilization. World leaders clamored for her attention, eager to hear firsthand about the Zetans and the incredible technological breakthroughs that had been achieved. In a historic address to the United Nations, Elena stood before representatives from every nation on Earth. The weight of the moment was not lost on her as she began to speak. "Distinguished delegates, citizens of Earth, I stand before you today, not just as a representative of our world, but as a bridge between two civilizations. The Zetans are different from us in many ways, but in the things that truly matter: the desire for peace, the thirst for knowledge, the capacity for love and understanding. We are more alike than we ever could have imagined. She went on to outline her vision for the future: a joint human-Zetan space exploration initiative, cultural exchange programs, and collaborative research projects that would push the boundaries of science and technology. But more than that, Elena continued, her voice filled with passion. I propose that we take this opportunity to reflect on who we are as a species. The Zetans have shown us a different way of existence, one based on harmony and deep connection. While we may not be able to replicate their harmony exactly, we can learn from it. We can strive to better understand one another, to bridge the divides that have long separated us. The response was overwhelming. Nations that had long been at odds found common ground in the face of this new cosmic perspective. Resources that had once been allocated for weapons and war were redirected towards space exploration and scientific research. In the months that followed, the first permanent human settlement was established on Zeta Proxima b. Elena watched with pride as human scientists, engineers, and diplomats worked side by side with their Zetan counterparts, each learning from the other. But it wasn't just on Zeta Proxima that changes were occurring. Back on Earth, inspired by the Zetan example, new technologies were developed to enhance human empathy and understanding. While not as all-encompassing as the Zetan harmony, these innovations helped people connect on deeper levels, bridging cultural and ideological divides. 1 year after her return to Earth, Elena found herself back on Zeta Proxima, this time leading a delegation of Earth's most prominent scientists, artists, and leaders. As they emerged from their ship, they were greeted by a sea of shimmering Zetan forms, pulsing with welcome. Zulix approached, accompanied by a group of Zetans Elena didn't recognize. Ambassador Reyes, welcome back. May I introduce our first volunteers for the Earth Exchange Program? Elena's heart swelled with joy as she made the introductions. Human and Zetan, two species from distant stars, now stood together as friends and partners. As the twin suns of Zeta Proxima beset on this historic day, Elena took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought them here. From first contact to crisis, from mistrust to collaboration, they had overcome every obstacle. The path forward would not always be easy, but together, they had proven that the gulf between worlds could be bridged. The stars above twinkled with possibility. Somewhere out there, other civilizations were waiting to be discovered, and when humanity and the Zetans ventured out to meet them, they would do so not as separate species, but as united explorers, carrying with them a message of harmony, understanding, and hope. Elena smiled, filled with anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead. The story of human and Zetan cooperation was not ending, it was just beginning. And she knew that together, there was no challenge they couldn't overcome, no frontier they couldn't explore. The future, vast and bright, beckoned them onward.